And I'll tell you why. So Opus 4.7 released literally in the last 2 weeks. Okay, it's meant to be an incredible model that's really, really cool. It's not because we have Claude Design released just last week, showcasing how we can basically destroy the share prices of things like Adobe, Canva being very scared as well. So creating a lot of those tools that existing software already do. It's not because of a thing called Mythos. Hands up who has not heard of Mythos from Claude. Oh, wow, really cool. Oh, okay, this is okay, I think you're gonna learn a lot here. This is gonna be really fun. Claude Mythos is this tool that's been released by Claude. That's been developed by Claude. It's the latest model that they have. They're not releasing it to the public. They think it's too dangerous to release. I'm gonna go into both sides about why that might be true and why it might not be true. But with Claude Mythos, we can't use it because it's not released. They've developed this thing called Project Glasswing. Project Glasswing is a list of the top companies: Amazon, Microsoft, Google, JP Morgan Chase, Cisco, a lot of those companies who have access to this tool so they can try and fix and defend all the world's most vital security software before this tool gets released to people. Really, really interesting. It also smashes the benchmarks. I'll use my clicker. If we have a look at Claude Mythos preview, 94.6% compared to Opus 4.6, 91.3. On things like Humanity's Last Exam, these are benchmarks to test how good an AI model is. It's also because, for instance, Jerome Money Printer Powell, anyone know Jerome Powell? Hands up if you don't. Okay, he's a treasurer, what's it called? The chair of the Reserve Bank in America, yeah? He held an emergency meeting just 2-3 weeks ago upon this announcement because he's seen this tool with all the top banks within the world, and they all attended the meeting. So very, very scary in terms of understanding what this capacity is, and there's real evidence that this is actually a tool that will be scary. It's not because of all these reasons, though, that we're going through Claude. It's not because they have incredible ads, was meant to be this one. And I'll play this because I think it's so funny.
Hey, can I get a six-pack quickly?
Perfect. That is a clear and achievable goal. Would you like me to tailor a personalized workout plan?
Yes.
Perfect. Let me personalize this for you. Let's start with your age, weight, and height. Whenever you're ready.
5'7", 23 years old, 140 pounds.
Got it. I'll create a plan that focuses on aesthetic strength training. But confidence isn't just built in the gym. Try Step Boost Max, the insoles that add 1 vertical inch of height and help short kings stand tall.
What?
Use code HYPEMAXING10 for big discounts. What's the difference between me and you?
Love that ad, love that ad. And it shows again how these models are now being commercialized and how scary they could be, right? You know what's really interesting too? That line from Perfect takes a jab at ChatGPT, but when I was up last night using Claude Code, same sort of thing, every time, perfect, I can complete that for you. Anyway, it gave me flashbacks. Not because they have amazing ads, it's not also because they have a really strong ethics. For context on this next one, has anyone heard about the Anthorpic and Department of War dilemma or conflict? Hands up if you have. Okay, so some people in the room have not. This should be front news, front page headlines all around the world. And I'm gonna make you watch about 3 minutes of this video, which is a long time. As a presenter, you go, oh, just get into the stuff, but we got a long time. It is so important. We have, for context, Dario, the CEO of Anthorpic, and I want to read this so I get it right too. So the Pentagon demanded unrestricted, all lawful purpose access to Claude for military applications. And Anthorpic wants to block it for 2 main reasons. There's 2 red lines where they draw, and the first one is mass surveillance. Super, super important in the US. And the second one is autonomous weapons. They're the things that they said we can't change that in our principles. But the Pentagon want full, complete access in it. Yeah, so it's going to go for 3 minutes. It's super important. And I'm going to summarize the rest after it goes through.
Yeah, so, we should maybe back up a bit for a little bit of context. So, Anthropic actually has been the most lean forward of all the AI companies in working with the US government and working with the US military We were the first company to put our models on classified cloud. We were the first company to make custom models for national security purposes. Were deployed across the intelligence community and the military for applications like cyber, combat support operations, various things like this. And the reason we've done this is, I believe that we have to defend our country. I believe we have to defend our country from autocratic adversaries like China and like Russia. And so we've been very lean forward. We have a substantial, public sector team. I have always believed that, as we defend ourselves against our autocratic adversaries, we have to do so in ways that defend our democratic values and preserve our democratic values. And so we have said to the Department of War that we are okay with all use cases, basically 98 or 99% of the use cases they want to do, except for two that we're concerned about. One is domestic mass surveillance. There, we're worried that things may become possible with AI that weren't possible before. An example of this is something like taking data collected by private firms, having it bought by the government, and analyzing it in mass by AI. That actually isn't illegal. It was just never useful before the era of AI. So there's this way in which domestic mass surveillance is getting ahead of the law. The technology is advancing so fast that it's out of step with the law. That's case number one. Case number two is fully autonomous weapons. This is not the partially autonomous weapons that are used in Ukraine or could potentially be used in Taiwan today. This is the idea of making weapons that fire without any human involvement. Now, even those, I think that our adversaries may at some point have them, so perhaps they may at some point be needed for the defense of democracy. But we have some concerns about them. First, the AI systems of today are nowhere near reliable enough to make fully autonomous weapons. Anyone who's worked with AI models understands that there's a basic unpredictability to them that in a purely technical way we have not solved. And there's an oversight question too. If you have a large army of drones or robots that can operate without any human oversight, where there aren't human soldiers to make the decisions about who to target, who to shoot at, that presents concerns. And we need to have a conversation about how that's overseen. And we haven't had that conversation yet. And so we feel strongly that for those two use cases should not be allowed.
The Pentagon has told us.
It's a fascinating watch. Seriously, I really encourage everyone to be watching that. It's the interview goes on, but if I summarize the rest of the interview, Claude were blacklisted by the government after about 3 days. The way they found out that they were blacklisted from the government services. And so it was basically saying that they were classed as a supply chain risk. So all the people who use Claude services that have government contracts were not meant to be using it anymore. Yeah. How they found out was from a tweet on Truth Social. Yeah, and they were given a deadline of, I think, 3 days to turn around and agree to their terms. Super interesting to watch, a big moment in history here. When we talk about AI and its development, this is a big moment in history. So please go watch that one. But it's not because they also have a strong backbone in ethics. It's also because, and this is the real reason, you're startups, and you're here to basically try and find value. That's all you want to do as a startup. You want to try and find value for a customer, okay? And in this process of using AI, the courses that I used to teach about 2 years ago are completely out of date, and they're now absolutely fast-forwarded and accelerated by AI. So when we look about failing faster, what I'm talking about is, and you should reflect on this for your startup, when you're trying to understand the problem landscape, maybe you're thinking about how you can use AI to complete deep research on your problem, to find insights that you didn't even uncover or know. Maybe you weren't a domain expert in that field, okay? Great way to be able to use secondary research in that area. Another example is about how to ideate. You can then test these ideas, iterate on these ideas with feedback from an AI. So using your AI as a co-founder there. When we think about your value proposition canvas, finding elements and problems that you didn't even articulate correctly, but your value might actually solve, your solution. Your MVP, this is absolutely clearly the best with AI. You can now build minimum viable products, not within weeks. My course literally had about 3-4 weeks to develop these type of things. We can now develop this within hours. And we're going to do that today. It's so simple, I can show you within 2-3 hours to build an entire company. I'll give that example soon. Experiments, being able to run a simple campaign is now so much cheaper. What we want to do in startups is we want to try and make sure that we can have an idea and test that in the market as fast as possible and for as cheap as possible. And now with AI, it becomes cheaper to do that too. All things like your costs, your administration, your accounting, your, what other examples do we have from typical? Your domain hosting, all these different things are now sped up because you can learn about any topic with AI. It's absolutely fundamental for founders. It is the best moment, I think, since ever to be an entrepreneur.